Good morning. Thanks for joining me again. This is Ashley from Hectic Homestead. I am going out to let the chickens out this morning, and I just want to take you along with me to see how my morning goes. So every morning I take them food scraps and I throw some of the food scraps to them, and some of them I put in the compost pile. I can't always give them everything because they will not eat what they're supposed to and then lay bad eggs with soft shells. So I have to be sparing with what I give them so they don't go too crazy, because they will eat lots and lots of bread, which is not good for them if I have it. So I usually ration that out. Here they all are, ready to come out. So at this point, I usually separate out what they can have and then throw the rest in the compost pile. So I'll give them some old tomatoes that are gross. They love tomatoes. And then the coffee grounds, obviously, I just put straight into the compost. We also put paper towels in compost because we go through a lot of them. You can actually give them the crushed up eggshell. Sometimes they'll eat it. They will only eat it if they actually need it. They know if they need more calcium or not. So you have to actually also look to see what things they can eat and they can't eat. They cannot have avocado peel or pit, but they're pretty good. I usually throw the pits away anyway, but they'll just eat the flesh out of the avocado and leave the rest of it, and then I just throw it into the compost pile. So whatever else I don't get, Gertie's sure to lead the pack and finish up getting the scraps. And now I need to go check on the babies and let them out. I always leave that thing there and I forget it when I come back into the house. I need to remember to do that. So and they're all here. Now I typically check to make sure that they have food and water. I just filled this up yesterday. It's already almost empty. It's pretty impressive. And the food I filled up yesterday, I give them local food by a local farmer, non-GMO. I don't think it's organic. It's very hard to grow organic. But anyway, I fill that up and they have that as needed. Obviously the water I fill up, I recently started putting apple cider vinegar in it because I've read a lot of pro things about that. So they have apple cider vinegar I put in to that. They also need oyster shell out and available for them to eat for calcium. And when somebody who gave us this run gave us these really cool feeding. The one on the left is for food and the one on the right is for water. So we have multiple options. If there's too many of them eating over here, they can eat over there as well. The baby chicks are supposed to eat chick starter, which is in there. I keep having issues with the big chicks going in there and eating it. But now since I've moved them into this beautiful home, they really haven't had much of an issue. I don't know why. I guess because I put that heater in front of the door. The big girls haven't gone in there yet to find the food. So every morning I will find eggs in here. There's lots of poop. I have to clean that out. I have one chicken that always lays eggs right in the middle of a pile of poop. It's disgusting. I usually have to rinse it off with the hose. So I'll come through and pick out the big clumps of poop. And over here There's usually, yep, an egg in there. And sometimes an egg in there. Yep, there they are. So now I'm going to pull out the big clumps of poop and lay some fresh bedding down. They are not supposed to sleep in the nesting boxes, but I have tried and tried and tried to get them out of there, and every night they just end up back in there, so I gave up. They do a decent job. I think part of the problem was the baby chicks that were from the broody hen were all sleeping in this one, and they've gotten better. They actually started roosting on the roosting bars now, but then I have another one who's definitely low man on the totem pole that gets pushed off every night, and she ends up sleeping in one of the nesting boxes. Actually, that's my Gertie. So let me get everything out. This is a really cool coop. It has everything that I need down here. When it rains, it definitely swells this whole thing shut. It makes it hard to open. So I have bedding down there, and I have this little old Tupperware thing with a kid's shovel that I use to scoop out the poop. There really isn't much in that one, but there is some in here, so I'll just go through and scoop this out and put it in here. And then I take that over to my compost pile, and I dump it in the compost pile. And chicken coop poop, as I call it, has to be composted, they say, usually for a full year before you can use it, because it will burn your plants. But I had some that took a little less time, I think, because I used this aerator thing. It's called a compost crank, and I don't know, it worked and they say compost is done when it doesn't smell like what it previously smelled like before, and it smells like dirt, so it worked. So now I'm going to scoop out the bigger chunks in here. And this coop also is pretty easy, because you can actually take this whole thing out, dump it into the compost bin, and rinse it out, and fill it back up. That wastes a lot of this bedding, so I don't do that all the time. I do it every so often when it gets pretty gross. And I lay new bedding down, like I said, every day. The white stuff on the bottom here is diatomaceous earth. It is, I think it's an old fossil, like part of fossils, that kills bugs that have an exoskeleton, so like mites and fleas and all that stuff. It makes them not be able to move. So I use that in the coop to prevent the chickies from getting mites or anything like that. I haven't had a problem. I've had my chickens for about a year. The older girls, the big brown ones. So I got them about a year. Started with 12. I ordered 10. They came in the mail. We picked them up at the post office. One of them didn't make it through the night. The hawk got a few of them. The dog, Huxley, I didn't know he was outside. I think the kids let him out at one point, and he was trying to play with a few of them and got them. And so then another couple hawks got the others. So long story short, we had 5. They weren't laying that much. We needed more eggs, so I got the 4 bantams. I think the brown ones that I have, the original brown ones, like this one over here, helping herself. I think those are Icer Reds. I'm not 100% sure. I ordered brown egg layers from Tractor Supply. I thought I ordered a mix, and I got all of the same, so I don't really know what happened there. Anyway, they're supposed to be good producers, but I have 1 or 2 that lay soft eggs all the time, and I give them everything they're supposed to have. I have oyster shell available for them. They eat layer feed. I don't give them too many treats, but yet they still do it, and I'm part of a Facebook group, and nobody seems to know why. So then, anyway, I had 5 of them. So then I got this little guy here, I got 4 of those. Those are called bantams. There's one there, one over there. And I don't know where the other ones are, but they were good egg layers, and then they went broody, 2 of them, so they stopped laying eggs, and then the other speckled one over there lays green eggs, and she hides them from me. And I also think she was molting, so I don't know where the last few ones were. So I had them. I got a couple more because they went broody. I got the 4 of the baby chicks from Tractor Supply and snuck them underneath my broody hen. So I was going to get rid of them, but chickens don't lay as many eggs as they get older. So I decided that I would probably get rid of the original, not all the original ones, but like 3 or 4 of them, and replace them with the younger ones because they'll lay more. And I don't really have that much of an emotional attachment to these girls except for Gertie, so I'll definitely keep Gertie. And I have too many chickens. But then these other ones I got are a mix of exotic breed, and they also lay green and blue eggs. So that's what I want to wait to see how they lay, what colors, before I start getting rid of some of them, if we do. So now I'm going to clean this coop out. These come out and make it easy. I actually usually put this down over here, the nesting box, so it's brighter in here and I can see more what I'm doing. If you can find a coop that has 2 doors, it makes it much easier to clean out. This is like an old Tractor Supply, the first one we got, coop. It was on clearance at the end of this season. It was fine to start out with. It's a little wobbly, but we will eventually one day maybe build something else. Although this thing is pretty dang sturdy, so if I have to ask my husband to do anything else with the chickens, he might kill me. So at this point I got all the big clumps of poop out of there from here and over here. I actually do come in here and scoop up some of this gross poop here because the chickens run around in the morning and poop all over the place in here. It's disgusting. And sometimes my children don't listen and run in here without shoes on, so I try to pick up as much poop as I can from the ground in here, because when they free range, the poop breaks down pretty quickly in the grass, but in here it's just gross. So at this point I take my bucket of poop, and this is my compost right now that I'm still adding stuff to, and I dump it in here and try not to dump it on the chicken, and then I will go through and just sprinkle some fresh bread in. So I'll take this out of here. I just use Tractor Supply flake stuff. You can buy this for like, I think it's less than $5, and I just sprinkle it every day. I always sprinkle a little bit fresh on the ones that I took poop out of, and the nesting boxes that I know they use all the time. So their favorites are the end ones here, and then the end one in the other coop. Although this is the new favorite in here. I just sprinkle more of this in here. And I'll sprinkle more of this in here. And every morning, if there is dirt in the bottom of this, I usually just tip this over to get the dirt out. And I'll most likely end up coming out later in the day and filling that up and adding the apple cider vinegar to it and cleaning it off. I have a separate little cleaning brush that I use for that because it got really gross when I wasn't doing that in the beginning. So I can do another video on that one day. So at this point, I put everything back. I would at this point add food if they needed food, but I just filled that up yesterday. I usually only have to fill that up about once a week or so because they free range and they find lots of bugs and goodies in the yard over here. So I close everything up. Don't forget to bring the eggs in. Don't forget they're in your pocket. Don't let them get smushed. Make sure all your doors are closed. So at this point I've gotten everything closed up in here. All my coop doors are closed. I'm gonna go over and grab my bucket that I said I always forget. Got it. And go inside. I usually let the kids watch one episode of a show when I come out here to do this. Hopefully they've behaved themselves if they are awake. If I come out and they're still asleep, then all is good. I will do another video another time soon, hopefully. Maybe do one on what I do, how I clean the eggs and store them and all that sort of thing. And more chicken video stuff. And now I get to go chase some of these girls off the porch because they have found their way up here. I'm pretty sure Huxley left the gate open. And there's one of them. Alrighty, thanks for joining me on this morning daily routine from Hectic Homestead. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe. If you do, I'll see you soon.